one thing is pumping, you see everybody posting their profits. You're like, why am I missing this? So you want to get in on the action. To actually be a successful trader, you need years of experience because you need discipline in trading. If you put the Bitcoin chart next to the stock market chart, you can see they're highly correlated.
Hello, we're in the second installment of Under the Spotlight with BTCC Exchange, and I'm very lucky to have Crypto Cobra with us on this one. How you doing, my friend? You good?
Very good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no worries.
Pleasure to meet you.
No worries. A bit of a different setting. We're actually in Athens, in your hometown.
Exactly. Yes.
It's a lot better here than in the UK, mate.
Best city in Europe, I think.
I completely agree with that. It's lovely here. Much warmer than the UK. Yes. It's a nice change of direction. Let's begin. I mean, the interesting thing about crypto, right? I always say this, and everybody I meet all the time, I always want to find out a little bit about what they got into the space for. You know, how were your origin stories? How did you first begin? What was it about crypto, Bitcoin, any of the nonsense out there that finally got you into it? Tell me.
I feel like most people that got into crypto are usually younger guys. And I feel like everybody has more or less the same story. So my story, I think I was like 15, 16 years old. And I was looking on the internet. It was like very popular back then when would it have been? Like 2015, 2016, how to make money online, which right now in today is like very big.
It's the number one, right?
Yes, but back then it was still up and coming. And I was researching like different things, and I was very big into drop shipping. Back then shipping was a big thing. And I remember I tried to, I even had created my own website. I did try to like run some ads and do drop shipping because I wanted to earn some money online. And then I found about trading as well. So I was doing like both drop shipping and then trading. I found a guy, I think he was called Timothy Sykes. Maybe you know him, old guy. And he was talking about trading penny stocks. So I was like, really, I found this very interesting. So that's basically, I first got into trading penny stocks. And I think then I shift over to Forex. And then from Forex, I kind of found about crypto because crypto started booming. When was it? When was it? Around 2017, I believe. 2016, 2017. And that's kind of how I got into crypto. Like it was more the mentality to start making money online. So I thought, okay, this crypto thing, I see like it has money to it. Like these coins are pumping and so on. And that's kind of what got me into crypto. I think it was like 2017, 2018.
Similar origin story to myself. And I think the trading, I probably got into that a little bit later. But what is it specifically about the trading aspect of it that rang to you so much?
I think trading is so attractive to everybody, right? Because you can, especially with leverage, like these exchanges, what they offer you, or these brokers, they offer you leverage. So even with a small amount, and you have these gurus selling you these dreams, so you kind of, it's so attractive because you think, okay, if I just can find the right strategy, I can turn this like $1,000 into like $100,000 if I just do it correctly. But with any other business, you actually need to put in work, which of course for trading you need to do it as well. But there's kind of something about it that fools you, that makes you think it's easier to make money trading than anywhere else. And I think it's like very attractive way, especially for new people that don't know too much about trading, to get into it because they see these people showing their profits online, how much they make. They say you just have to click buy and sell at the right time and you'll become rich. So that's the thing that made why I became obsessed with trading. I was like, if I can figure this out, I can actually become a millionaire, even though I was like 16, 17, 18, I didn't have any money. So I think that's what most people get into trading, especially leverage trading. Another thing is investing. But when you actively trade, you have this money in mind. You're like, okay, I can turn this small sum of money into something huge if I just get it right. You
can basically see the payday at the end of the resulting trade, right? Which is so different to, your typical business per se, right? Where if you start a business, you need overhead costs, do you have the legislation, who you're selling to, who the target market. Just put the money in and, spray and pray a lot of people. And I think one of our friends, Traders Reality, Tino, he says it's the hardest, easiest way to make money. What do you think that means to you?
I agree 100% with that because it seems easy, but it's actually so hard. And I think to actually be a successful trader, you need years of experience. You need to understand so much about how the industry works, how the market works, why things move, so much you need to learn. So in theory, it's easy. Like because you can get lucky. Like you can have these lucky trades that actually can give you life-changing money. But I think it's like one of the hardest things to actually be consistently consistently profitable, because you can have like a good year and the next year you can lose it all. So it's definitely like, I think it's one of the more difficult ways to actually make consistent money, and especially if you have small amount. It all depends, because some people think you can join the space with like $1,000 or let's say $10,000 and turn it into millions. But you have to look at trading more conservatively, in my opinion, to actually be a successful trader, to aim for more consistent returns. Because if it was so easy, all these hedge funds and all these big banks, they usually compare their performance to the S&P 500, which is around 10% per year, right? So why the professionals that do this for a living manage to only like create 10% per year, but why you as an individual, what's your age? What do you think you can perform like 200% every year? You need to understand what's your age. Why do you think you're going to be, as a new person coming into trading, why do you think you can have a bigger edge than people that do this for many, many years, that have inside information, that actually are professionals in this space?
This is to be fair, some solid alpha coming out right now. Yeah. When you look at some of the, the biggest hedge funds, their investors lock their money and they're happy for 8 to 10%, if that, there's a 5 to 10% return is huge for them, with the capital that they allocate. And I find, especially with a lot of the people that I work with, a lot of the new guys, I mean, myself included, when I first got in it, right? I mean, my first winning trade was like an 89% win. Blew my mind. And I thought, I'm going to just do this forever. Yeah. Quickly learn that's not very possible on a regular basis. So let's just say that doesn't happen to me anymore. But I think for you specifically, from what I'm understanding, it's definitely, an obsession with trading and a discipline, right? And so where did you encompass that learning to be able to maybe target the market and attack the market the way you do?
I'll say this is something that most people don't like to hear, but I believe because trading, it's basically like gambling in a sense. And the thing is, if you want to be a successful trader, the worst thing you can have is gambling habits. So I see a lot of traders, because I have a community, I interact with traders on a daily basis. Especially a lot of people with gambling tendencies, they get very attracted to trading. And I think it's almost impossible to become a successful trader if you have gambling tendencies or you are easily addicted to gambling, because you need discipline in trading. And I'm very lucky with that, because I have no interest in gambling. Like, I've been to the casino with friends. I don't enjoy it. Even if you give me free money to gamble, I have zero interest. Like, this is something, for me, I don't find any interest in gambling. And this has helped me so much in trading, because I really don't get, what do you call it? Like dopamine kicks. Like, I don't feel these gambling impulses.
You don't feel the win.
Which you can, because if you can have so much money, especially if you have a good strategy, and let's say you're like the past 2 months, you're up like huge amount. You kind of get this euphoria and you feel unstoppable. You're like, okay, I want to make even more, because we're humans. We have emotions, we have greed. So I think a big downfall for many smart people and many good traders are because they get too euphoric and they fall into these gambling tendencies. So I think in trading, discipline is one of the most important things that I think most people underestimate and overlook. So it's a hard truth, I believe, but I think trading is not for everybody, especially if you like to gamble. Trading is going to be extremely difficult for you to master, because it's right in front of you, right? It's like you're in the casino 24/7. You have to control yourself not to gamble when you like to gamble, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, of course. You're in the face of the market basically all day, and if you've never been in that situation, those mean nothing to you. But when you open up the desktop and you see the chart, you see the price, and you can basically feel the emotions of everybody at the same time wanting to trade.
And then you open Twitter, for example, and one thing is pumping. You see everybody posting their profits. You're like, why am I missing this? So you want to get in on the action. It's extremely emotional, especially in crypto. I think crypto is even more emotional than Forex or commodities or stocks. Crypto is highly, highly emotional, and it's just the reality. I think people need to be aware if they actually want to succeed in trading over time, because unfortunately that's what I see so many people with gambling addict, and people come to me and say, I used to be a gambling addict and now I trade, and I'm like, no, this is not going to work for you. But of course they are their own. I cannot tell them what to do. I can only share my knowledge. So I guess, as I said before, that's one of the very lucky things I had. I have zero interest in gambling. So for me, if I'm not in a trade, I don't feel any pressure to get in. Have a lot of patience. Patience is very important as well. But I see so many people like, I'm not in a trade. What should I buy? What should I sell? I need to be in the trade constantly, because they need this dopamine kick. They need to gamble, basically.
So the other thing in terms of the actual specifics of when you are trading, right? And I think anybody who hasn't seen your content, I highly recommend that you do watch his content. It's great. The pitchfork technique, which I have wanted to ask you about for a long time. I know we've spoken on many calls, but where did you come up with that? Because I watch your videos sometimes, and you're highly accurate with those pitchforks.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit, because they're
quite insane. Well, it's a long story. Basically, I think to succeed in anything, in any domain, basically, you need to be kind of obsessed. So I've been obsessed not with trading, but more with charts. Like my whole life since I was 16, basically, I've been studying charts ever since I got into trading. I basically went through every strategy out there, as you can find on the internet. Every strategy I have back tested. I've tried to trade it. I've really tried everything, everything I tried. And I realized like most of it BS. Like if you can find it online, most likely it's not working, because if it was actually an alpha strategy, nobody would share it with you. Like if it was actually a winning strategy. So, and pitchforks, they're one tool that are actually built in TradingView. So I was following another trader, which I don't remember his exact name, but he was using the pitchforks. So you guys can see on my channel how I use them. But he was using me a different way, right? But I started paying attention to the lines, because not all the lines are the ones that, there are different rules how you should use the pitchforks. So I used the tool, but I applied my own rules to it after studying and backtested it. And I realized there are some big algorithms, or there are some institutions that are using these tools because they leave these massive footprints on macro charts. Like they can work like 100 years ago, you can test them. Like I think they predicted even the top on silver way back when silver peaked as was around 2000, something like that. Like they have these insane accurate predictions, which I think is kind of scary. Like when I look at some of the charts, how scary they have predicted the markets correctly. So I think they must be used by some bigger institutions, some big algorithms that are moving. Because just because you draw a trend line on the market, that doesn't mean that price is going to respect the trend line. But I think the pitchforks are something else. Not very good at explaining, to be honest, but they are definitely something that I still don't understand how they work. Sometimes they work so accurately, I don't understand how. But then it's a different how to implement that into trading, because there's one thing to do technical analysis and one thing to actually the execution. The execution part is very, very difficult. But from a technical perspective, I think I'm a very good technical analyst using the pitchfork method.
I think for me, that was your niche, right? And obviously we'll get into your content creator life and obviously how it's been over the past 12 months. But I think when I first saw that, it was I hadn't seen it in any of the other creators. So that's what sort of perked up my interest. And I remember obviously we'd been on calls and stuff. And I think that was one of the things that a lot of people keep coming back to your channel to see, you know, where are these pitchforks at? Exactly. Is he actually as accurate as then? I see your tweets and, you know, you just hit it and it's gone down. I'm like, this guy knows what he's talking about. This guy knows what he's talking about. Yeah. Which then leads me on onto the next thing. So you're a relatively new YouTuber, content creator on the scene, right? So so tell me about the last sort of 12 months in terms of how that's been in terms of growth and community building and everything like that, you know?
Yeah, I think the last 12 months have really been my life really has changed a lot in the past 12 months. And because I've been like in the crypto space for a long time. I've been like following a lot of content creators, being active on Twitter and so on. Like I've been interacting a lot, but not as a creator. And then last year, I think it was in December, so around 12 months, 13 months ago, I was like, okay, let me post some videos of my own. So yeah, I started my YouTube channel. I thought, let me share my views, because I was seeing how accurate my analysis was. And I thought, this is crazy. I want to share with somebody. But I tried to message some people on Twitter. I don't really have any in real life friends that are traders. So I had all this information I wanted to share with people. I was like, look, we can actually make profit like hugely from this. Like we can predict these major moves. So I thought, okay, let me start a YouTube channel. And it was also just before like the bull run took off, basically. So last year, I think Bitcoin was, when I started my YouTube channel, was around 30K. And right now it's like, how much is Bitcoin?
105, I checked earlier.
Yes. So I got in right at a good time, just before the bull market. And that actually helped me grow my channel as well. So I started posting daily videos and I started to get an audience. But I realized in the beginning, it's very, very hard, even now, to get growth, because there's so much competition out there. And there's so much BS also out there, to be honest. So it's hard to grow, but definitely also when you're a financial channel, the audience is smaller. So for somebody that does like technical analysis, even you have like 10,000 subscribers, in my opinion, it's still a lot. But if you do, let's say, vlogging channel, if you're a YouTube where you do vlogs, 10,000 subscribers are not that much. So you also have to understand the niche. But definitely it's been fun, because you connect with a lot of people. I think that's the most valuable thing as a content creator that people underestimate. You basically network. That's what content, like you upload your content to the internet and you gain attention, and people can message you. You find basically people that you wouldn't find on an everyday basis.
So that's it has been huge for you, because I remember, I think when we first spoke last year, I think you were like maybe less than 1,000 subscribers, right? And I think at this point you're nearing 10K, and even from my point of view, like it's been incredible over the space of a year. And just from previous, content creators I've spoken to, in a bull market, they would start at, a couple thousand. And then by the next bull market, they're 50 to 100K. And, we're not talking like double, lives have changed. Businesses have been, empires have been like built with, you've seen with many, many different people.
I think the previous bull market, that would have been the time to actually start. Right now, the market is very saturated. Like now, everybody talks about crypto. But if you got in early, especially as content creator, it was more easier to gain an audience because you were early into the game. right now, even this bull market, when I got in early, let's say at 30K, I think that was already like, market has already been alive for quite some time. So most of the retail people are already in the space. So right now you're just competing to steal somebody else's audience, basically, or not steal, but to take somebody else's audience. But if you start your channel like 5, 10, or not 10, but let's say 5 years ago doing crypto, there was not a lot of people doing crypto content. So it's very easy. Everybody that was coming into the crypto space were looking for guidance. Immediately your channel would pop up. But that's with everything, I believe. Like when you're new to something, when you first jump on a trend, it's easier to grow.
How has it been building a community alongside that? Because I think people do like watching creators, right, and their voice on the market, etc. But I think what makes it even more personal, which I think I quite like with the communities that you have, is building up that community. Like, have you had a community previously that you've been able to build? Because I think I've been in your Discord, etc. And you're very personal with a lot of the people. And I think is that a new feeling to be sort of like a head honcho, right? Like a leader per se to a bunch of people, essentially, like listening to your training, to your advice, like how you tackle the market. Like how's that felt?
It's definitely something strange because I'm usually not in this position, where you have lots of people listening to you. But when it happens gradually, you don't realize it. But then when I look back 1 year, I have all these people listening to me, looking up to me for advice. It definitely definitely feels good. And one thing when you build your own community, which I really like, is you basically choose the people that come into your community. Because one thing also, actually I could talk about this for hours, but I think like the social media algorithms are extremely undervalued or overlooked. Because you choose what kind of people you attract. So the kind of content you produce, the algorithm will target the people that will like your content. So you basically, like the algorithms are extremely, extremely advanced, I believe. So when people find your content online, you can basically choose what kind of people come into your community, basically your community, your Discord, whatever you have. So I think like your community also gives kind of a mirror picture of what kind of person you are and what kind of content you produce. So that's also something that I find interesting because I realize when I compare to other communities, there can be very, very different based on what content people are producing. So if that makes sense.
Would you say that's because that's something always that you learn, but now obviously after a year of doing it, especially to maybe new content creators out there that are coming into the space, like what would be some of the earliest advice you would give to somebody who's maybe watching this video, maybe thinking, I want to jump into the content creation game, maybe in crypto, maybe in anything. Yeah. What would be some of that advice that you would give them to start with so they could save themselves maybe like on the job of learning?
Yeah. First, you need to have a plan and you need to stick to it. You want to have a specific content you want to upload and you want to have on your channel, and you shouldn't like switch it. You have to plan what kind of person you want to be, what kind of content you want to produce. So again, that's kind of a broad statement, but personally what I will say, what I went with, I wanted to be honest and basically just talk to my audience like I would talk to a friend sitting next to me. Because most of the content right now on YouTube is basically like a TV show, mate, or if it makes sense. They are designed to not manipulate exactly, but basically to capture your attention. But my content, I was just sitting at the computer talking like I was talking to a friend. So I really wanted to be transparent, trying to be honest. That's kind of my thing, I realize, especially now. That's kind of what I try to build my channel, just to be completely transparent with everybody, showing people what I think, what I believe. Just I would talk to a friend. That's kind of how I look at it, and that was kind of my brand thing. I believe I can say so, but it depends what kind of, and you have to understand what kind of audience you want to attract, because depending what content how niche your content is as well. If you want to have bigger channel, smaller channel, I think especially what I do right now, it's hard for me to build a very, very big channel. But it has to do with finance channels in general. I think are hard to basically to grow big.
It's a very specific character profile, right? Because I mean, finance in general is just a vast sum, and then you go down into trading, and then you go down to crypto trading, and then you go to leverage trading, and then the specifics of different type of technical analysis. So it definitely is something interesting. If I was to move, back to the market, and I think what we've seen over the last 12 months, right? And I'm going to get some of your views on this. It's been completely insane, right? I think Donald Trump's in charge now. He relaunched a meme coin. First, give me your sort of general outlook on the crypto market and How has it been to you? How has it felt over the last year in terms of what it was maybe like in 2021 and what it has been like in 2024 and now in 2025?
Yeah. Well, actually, I posted this, I think 2 days ago, I posted on my Twitter. I said, I'm just here for the memes at this point. And I think that sums it up quite well, because I already was looking before, like around 1 year ago, seeing, okay, this bull run, meme coins are doing really well. So it's going to be this target, the money's going to be in memes. And right now we see even the president is launching basically a meme coin.
Insane.
So the whole crypto market is a meme at this point. And I really don't know what to believe anymore. I think it's extremely bad for the market. I think the memes need to die out because there's so much money in these useless coins. And it's just like a free-for-all. It's like a FFA, or how you call it. Like it's just like survival of the strongest. Like it's just, how should I say? It's like casino, basically. Like crypto's always been like a big casino. Everybody chasing the pump. But right now you see it on a broad, like really broad scale. Everybody's looking, what's the best meme coin to invest? Like it's full on degen right now, the market. And I think it's just too many memes right now. And I don't know, this is not a good thing for the crypto space, I believe. Because all these valuations you have on these coins, very few of them actually have any real utility. So I do believe like 99% of this is like just a big Ponzi scheme by the end of the day.
Do you think Donald Trump and then Melania, President and First Lady, launching a meme coin in the fashion they did, when they did, do you think that's maybe opened up the vents for more people to do the same? Like maybe nation states to drop meme coins, other celebrities have been doing it for years, but I mean, other major institutions, people, companies, dropping similar coins?
That's a very good question. I hope not. I can't imagine nation dropping, but I feel like that was like that's the peak for me, when like the US president dropping a meme coin. Like you can't go higher than that.
No.
Like maybe aliens come here and drop meme coin. But like that's the height. Even when you start previous bull run, you saw these celebrities dropping meme coin. I remember that was a big thing. I remember was it in 2020 or 2021? I think it was 2020 when that was basically when all the celebrities started jumping on with the NFTs, and they had a boom, and celebrities were creating their NFTs and meme coins. So much hype. Right now, like how much higher can the hype go? Like the president launched a meme coin. Like nobody higher than that can launch, if it makes sense, kind of what I'm saying. I'm not good at explaining, but it's just crazy to me. I don't know what to say. I think it's very bad for the space, and I don't see the point why Trump would launch this meme coin. Other for maybe.
To the defense, I would say it's a stamp of approval, I would say, finally, for your crypto native people who wanted to maybe see something like, I don't think anybody was expecting it in this fashion for a president to drop a meme coin, but it's definitely a stamp of approval finally from the leading government agency on the planet to say, crypto's here, crypto's staying, and I will drop a meme coin and everybody will buy it and trade it, and there's no issue. Separate to the fact that, again, we haven't heard about any utility about Trump, so there probably isn't, but it definitely opens up definitely an interesting chapter in the crypto world, right? And on that topic of utility specifically, is there anything you're maybe using, any protocols, or maybe you've seen value in certain protocols where you think, this could actually be something, or is it still something where you think we're still maybe a cycle, 2 cycles away from seeing some actual usable value in our day-to-day lives?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And I think, personally, I don't think now on the top of my head. I'm sure there's some value to it and people are already using it. But for now, I don't really see, at least for me personally, where I'm using crypto on a daily basis or something that can help me. I think most of it is already speculation. Like this market cap we have for Bitcoin right now, it's based on 10, 20, 30, 50 years into the future, what Bitcoin can be worth. That's with everything. Like it's priced in, the future price is already priced in. Because at current state, Bitcoin value is overvalued, in my opinion. If it makes sense. It's with the stocks as well. Like if you buy a company, like you see Apple stock right now, it's valued, not what is valued today, but what it can be valued in the next 2 months or in the next year. So you always pay an extra price because what is going to happen into the future. And I think right now there's just this big face people think if Bitcoin is going to perhaps become a worldwide currency, that's why people are already start buying it. But I think it's going to take years before we can actually see it in a day-to-day life. And before we can implement and actually see some value in it. I think we're in a bubble at the moment. I think the crypto markets need to correct at some point, and then we're like 2 or 3 cycles, like you said, that way before we actually see some more improvement.
What would you say is something fun? Your cycle prediction again, I don't know where you think we are in this cycle. I
Yes.
think you're leaning definitely on the we've topped side of things, which I don't want to hear, but it can happen.
No, not topped yet. But I'm known for my conservative targets.
Oh no, I've seen.
So, but I think the top is going to be between 130, 140k. I have a very specific.
Specific angle there.
Yeah,
Specific
angle.
There's
yes.
a corridor that you're.
Yes, because I think too many people expect higher targets, and usually, that also previous cycle people were expecting I think 80k, 100k, and I think we topped around 60. Did we hit 70k last cycle? I think something like that before we dropped, or 69k, something like that. So I think definitely we're gonna top sooner than people think. But I also think the market has changed a lot. People try to look at the previous cycle and compare this cycle. The market is bigger now. Something I've said since last year. I believe Bitcoin is more gonna be like the S&P 500 basically. So it's gonna be more stable, because as the market cap grows, it's going to be more still less volatile. So that's basically what you want to see if you want to see adoption for Bitcoin. You want the price to be stable. Like over the years, if actually Bitcoin is going to become a currency, first it's going to be volatile when nobody's using it, but the more people are going to start using it and owning it, it's going to be more stable, like the dollar, like the euro. They're more or less kind of stable currencies. So that's what we're going to see, I believe, in the next few years for Bitcoin. So it's definitely going to be interesting. Even if we have topped, the bear market doesn't have to be as brutal as the previous bear markets, which I think can be. I don't think actually it's going to be that brutal either, because so many institutions are holding it and so many people are looking at it. Like everybody in the world right now knows about crypto. A few years ago, you spoke about Bitcoin. Very few people knew about it. I remember when I was trading it, I was talking about crypto. Nobody knew. Now you go to a stranger on the street and ask them about. They have at least heard of it. So more demand for sure. They're not going to let the price drop. So it's going to be interesting. Like I don't think it's going to be a bad thing. I do think markets need to correct, but I think people maybe expect like this huge bear market, which is like going to be brutal. I think for Bitcoin it's not going to be so bad, but for altcoins I think most of them are it's going to be brutal, which I think is good. These altcoins, they need to go away. The money needs to flow into Bitcoin away from these meme coins, shit coins, and all these things.
You mentioned institutions there, right? And do you think potentially from yourself, your trading, your community's trading, and some of your other colleagues in the trading space, do you think they've seen a difference in the way the market has changed with the introduction of institutions?
I'm actually not sure. Personally, I don't see that big of a difference. I see some people are talking because now institutions are in the market, price reacts differently and so on. Definitely there is a change, but that's not something personally that I have noticed. Right now they have different contracts, different other ways institutions can buy, but I think institutions have been buying Bitcoin like way back. They're not stupid, right? But right now you just have probably more, the institutions are buying with bigger size and trading with bigger size. But as I said, it's going to be more stable, I believe, the price when institutions are coming. So we're going to have less volatility. But that's not something that bothers me personally, or that I have personally seen on the charts. It's more like on a macro, bigger time frame thing. I do think it's going to impact the market for sure. But I think in a healthy way, not in a bad way.
Interesting. Well, I always ask this to people as well. What are sort of 3 things you're looking at going into the next year that you maybe have on your cards for the market, maybe anticipating, or maybe there's something in the tech side of crypto that you're probably more interested in?
Yes, I'm not that big into the whole tech thing, to be honest. I'm not that educated on it. I'm more like a DJ.
More on the trading side.
More on the trading side. I try to extract as much money as I can from the market. Basically, I think next year is going to be very interesting because right now we had the stock market going absolutely parabolic. Last year, one of my predictions was we're going to have one of the best years in the stock market. I believe the S&P 500 had like 24, almost 25% return. And I think this year as well, the stock market is going to have a crazy return. And if you put the Bitcoin chart next to the stock market chart, you can see they're highly correlated. So I think right now, the stock market is just going to continue to go up, in my opinion. Bitcoin is going to follow. But once the stock market tops, I think it's highly over leveraged. I think the stock market this year, if not big early next year, is going to have to come to some kind of top and then have a massive deleverage. So I think we're due for massive volatility. This is going to also reflect the crypto market. But as of for now, I think so much money flowing into the markets. I think we're going to continue to go higher, especially the stock market. So that's kind of what I'm looking at this year. I'm long the stock market, long crypto at the moment. I don't feel too comfortable, to be honest, to be long crypto at this point. When you see when the president started launching his crypto, you're not in early stages anymore.
No.
So I'm definitely nervous here, but I do think we're in late stages. But I know people don't like to hear that, but we're not. We have to admit we're not in early stages anymore.
No, I agree, and I think if anything, everybody takes one thing away from this is be more conservative, which I've found. I think you're definitely way more of a conservative trader and a conservative participant in the face of the market, which is always needed because that's how you keep your profits at the end of the day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I've been around the block, I think, for some time, so I try to warn my audience as well, because so many people are coming this cycle. So many new people. Each bull market, there's so many new people that come in, and have plenty of accounts of my own. Once you start blowing a few accounts, you learn you need to be conservative and not get sold into this dream like, oh, with $1,000 I'm gonna be a millionaire if I buy the right coin and so on. You need to play it smart. Like everything in life, nothing in life is easy. Like if you want to actually succeed in anything, you need to work hard. You need to understand. You need to study. So that's kind of what I try to explain to my audience as well. And I'm kind of a conservative person in general, which is not so attractive for new people to listen to. But I try to stay, true to myself and just tell people, give them the best knowledge I can. I don't know everything either. So.
True to yourself, and I think that's what's made your content so stick over the last year and probably stick into the future years. Raphael, Crypto Cobra, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you, my friend. And I'm super excited to see your YouTube channel grow, your audience grow, your community grow. And I think there are big things on the card for you. Yes. And thank you so much for having this conversation with us.
Thanks so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
No worries. And that's been Under the Spotlight with Erik and BTCC Exchange. I look forward to seeing everybody at Token 2049 in Dubai. Make sure you follow us on Twitter and our social medias, and we'll go from there. Peace.